Hey y'all, it's Lamb, and I have a presentation for you. So we're all familiar with the big three, right? Like, we know the big three. We have Polly Pocket herself, Sabrina Carpenter, ex-Disney darling, current top charter. She opened for Taylor Swift. It cost $300 to have an obstructed view at her concert. She's on top of the world. Shawn Mendes. Now, I'm less familiar with Mr. Mendes' game because I don't know what MagCon was. I've had people explain to me what MagCon was, and I just refuse to let that knowledge be absorbed into my brain. I'm almost 25, and I feel like if I fully understand Vine and early YouTube fandom really was, I'll get sucked into a black hole and never come out again. Mr. Mendes has never found himself on my Spotify Wrapped. Stitches played at my first job, which was like fast food, and I would quite literally weep every time I heard it. The same for Havana, but that leads us to our last contestant, Miss Camilla Cabello. Other than being a Cinderella star, Miss Camilla Cabello started out her career as a member of Fifth Harmony. Now, I only met one person in my life who was an honest-to-God Fifth Harmony fan, and at the time they identified as a lesbian. So I have to imagine this was sort of a anti-One Direction, stick it to the man, I'm gonna like the girl group movement, because I've never met a genuine Fifth Harmony fan. Their music, I can't process who it's for. Don't act like this, 'cause it doesn't exist. Like, I understand his target audience. Isn't a week on the internet that goes by that there's not a gay rumor about this man. And apparently same for her. Apparently her archive of our own tag goes crazy.
Cannot be said for Miss Polly Pocket, tragically.
Help me. Just tell me where I'm going wrong. Why am I the only straight pop star taken at their word?
Now, if you look here at these three individuals, you will notice some similarities between these two, which actually I'm starting to feel a little left out. One moment. That's better. So, if we look at these two women, we'll notice some similarities between them. Namely, the fact that Camilla is blonde now. That was not the case for many of her previous appearances. But around the time Sabrina has been seen out in public with Mr. Shawn, all of that changed. And we see a new Camilla, a blonder Camilla. Been recently spotted in this sad excuse for a wig, and I've had my family fully believe that this is my actual hair for probably the past 4 months. So what's her excuse? There's an article out citing that she had to attend some kind of race therapy. I'd be remiss not to mention the racism allegations against this woman, as well as her continued work with Drake. So yeah, I'm not normally this mean to women, but Camilla, go back to the therapist. It's clearly not working. So obviously you'll notice that this board leans a little Sabrina heavy, but that's because in addition to this, there's a much more interesting triangle to me, and that includes Sabrina's best friend and fellow child star, Joey King. Now, Joey isn't just known for being small and Jewish and kind of annoying and really bad at the...
What the fuck are those called?
She's also known for dating her Kissing Booth co-star, Jacob Elordi. Now, if you know anything about Jacob Elordi, you know he's coming for the Jolly Green Giants brand, and in doing so, he starred in the movie Saltburn. Now, Saltburn was a film that was made, and his co-star was none other than Barry Keoghan. I think that's right. I don't know if it's Keoghan. I'm going with Keoghan, because that sounds more Irish to me. Jacob Elordi starred alongside Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan, also famously involved with Sabrina Carpenter. I bet we'd have really good bed. Kim? How you pick me up, turn around. Sorry. Sabrina, the people's princess. we have Barry, the people's lesbian aunt. Fascinatingly, I've seen no mention of this foursome. To me, this trio is almost to distract from the fact that there is some genuine animosity from these women to this very tall tree, and this short king publicly very close to this man. But as soon as the PR for the movie stopped, so did this bromance. I haven't seen mention of Jacob Elordi on Barry's socials since he started only praising Sabrina on them. Now, let it be stated, I am currently under the impression that the cheating scandal was faked. All of my sources say that it wasn't true. If it comes out that it was true and they have broken up, I'm filming this now for a reason. So no one talks about this dynamic. But even more than that, no one mentions Taylor. Whoa, wait. This isn't the right Taylor. Right, okay, Joey King was in the music video. Sabrina opened for her and then was brought out on stage. Okay, Shawn. Coachella together, who cares? Well, Taylor, get out of the middle of the couple. You look like a giant. This Taylor is much more interesting to me, because this Taylor also starred in The Kissing Booth alongside Joey and Jacob. But this Taylor was the one she danced with at her wedding. A wedding that Sabrina Carpenter was also in attendance. Additionally, Taylor has been seen at Sabrina's concerts sporting a Sabrina's fan club button. He's been in the VIP. He's been backstage. You know who hasn't? Which, in my humble opinion, shows that this relationship is much less about PR and much more about actually having friends in the industry and supporting each other. Same for this one. And even same for these two. You didn't think I was going to make a video that I didn't talk about these two, did you?
Wow.
So Nicholas Galitzine starred along Taylor Perez in the movie Red, White, and Royal Blue, which, as you can tell, I have a slight interest in. Nicholas and Taylor meet for the first time in person at a rehearsal for this movie and make fast friends. It's understood by the cast and crew that they kind of need some time to build a relationship and form that camaraderie that will be crucial to bring to life such a cherished piece of media, and they did it. Around the time of the film, despite the writer's strike, articles were published denoting their friendship, and backstage photos revealed that the two remain close, despite not currently doing press for the movie together. Now, you might just say there was a sequel announced, so they still have to pretend to be friends, whereas those two never have to work together. I choose to believe these two are actually friends IRL. Maybe it's my fanfic brain talking, but Nicholas will do interviews that have nothing to do with Taylor and mention projects where he's worked with the cast of Red, White, and Royal Blue. And Taylor's not doing a lot of working. He's been grieving his sister. But even in interviews with one Joey King, Pookie Princess comes up, which is a much more agreeable relationship than the one between these three individuals, wherein there is public animosity bouncing between all three. These two have publicly stated their love for the Kissing Booth movies, how much they cherish that time together to grow as friends, whereas Jacob Elordi has publicly stated that the movies are worthless and added nothing to his career, which some people have said is maybe a bit distasteful and maybe, just not a good look per se. All that being said, these two are still friends, in the same way that these two individuals are close personal friends, and these two individuals, and unfortunately, these two individuals. So Nicholas is kind of known for not so subtly dating his co-stars. Not trying to read too much into any of that, just a fact of the matter. But one friendship remains true, and that is with the paparazzi photo queen, Camilla Cabello. She did date one of his close personal friends, outside of Hollywood fame. I think they might be cousins. They grew up together. It's his bestie. She dated him. Doesn't matter. Very small relationship. Might have just been public relations to show that she was over Shawn, but now she's back with Shawn, so that kind of failed. But c'est la vie. All this to say, there's a very intricate web being stitched together here that I find so fascinating, that these two could seemingly ignore this relationship, both date their respective counterparts, while these two men never seem to care for these men. And while he continues to be friends with this woman, there's no crossover with this man whatsoever. It's just interesting to me. In other words, I really think these two have a group chat where they're kikiing about this man, and I really want to know what these two men have to say about this man, or maybe even this man, because let's be so totally honest, Sabrina's birthday cake, she looks at Taylor Zakhar Perez, who was filming, and she's like, did you do this about the Leonardo DiCaprio cake? And she didn't look that happy when it happened, and he looked like maybe it was his idea. So I'm thinking he doesn't like him either, because they're the same age, and these two are almost a decade younger. I don't think that's right. I think he's like 32 and she's like 25. And she's married to a 30-something, 40 maybe director, and he's 32. So what do I know? I'd also cite Nicholas as having no love for Barry, because despite having met circa handsome devil era Nick, this photo is the funniest photo of Nicholas Galitzine I've ever seen. I used to say that promo for Red, White, and Royal Blue was trying to make him look bad because they would pick the worst photos of him. So this was like my top contender for worst photos of Nicholas. And then sort of pictures where Taylor was just hanging out. Like they just weren't headshot material. This photo with Barry, where Barry is inexplicably so far, like a yard away and facing the wrong direction. Like there are two more people in this photo and they're all fairly close together, all facing this way. But Barry's just over here. I just got a vibe. This is nothing, but sometimes you get an inkling when you watch a film and then you hear that the actor really wanted to put his bare dick in the ground and also swing his bare phallus around the set. And it just leaves you with a feeling in your tummy that you don't really like him. Now that being said, I want to know if they're talking about Barry in their group chat or not. Is he begging her to end things with him? And is he begging her to just lose his number? That's what I want to know. Additionally, I've never seen Camilla Cabello fans. She's having a concert at the same arena in my city that Sabrina had a concert at, and Sabrina, it would have run me like $240 for an obstructed view seat. You can get a floor seat for Camilla for like the same price. They weren't even offering the obstructed view seats for Camilla. It was just like $30 for like back of the amphitheater. That's just kind of sad. I've seen people pitting them against one another for their songs on their most recent album, in which Sabrina has some lines that allude to Camilla perhaps having her sloppy seconds with Shawn.
This week, you're holding space for one tongue in your mouth.
However, Camilla has the same song on her album. In case you haven't heard it, I feel like everyone's heard the Sabrina album. In case you haven't heard Camilla's side of the story, it's called June Gloom. I do not recommend listening to it, but it does have one of the worst lines in any song I've ever heard in my life.
Does she get this wet for you, baby?
Yeah, I don't like the album. I gave it a listen for science. If you're amazed by my ability to make a public feud between two women about two speculated homosexual men, subscribe.